S.S.C. Board Maharashtra State. Subject Higher English. Unit number 2.3. Connecting the dots. Connecting the dots is a commencement speech given by Steve Jobs to graduates of Stanford University in 2005. In it, he talks about his college experiences, about getting fired from Apple, his loves, and his brush with death. Today, I want to tell you 3 stories from my life. That's it. Just 3 stories. The first story is about connecting the dots. I dropped out of Reed College after the first 6 months, but then stayed around as a drop-in for another 18 months before I really quit. Looking back, it was one of the best decisions I ever made. I could stop taking the required classes that didn't interest me and begin dropping in on the ones that looked interesting. And now, the meanings. Connecting the dots. This is a phrase used as a metaphor to illustrate an ability to associate one idea with another to find the big picture or salient feature. Dropped out of means discontinued or left. Drop in means a visitor. And quit means to leave an ongoing activity. I didn't have a dorm room, so I slept on the floor in friends' rooms. I returned Coke bottles for the 5-cent deposits to buy food with, and I would walk 7 miles across town every Sunday night to get one good meal a week at the Hare Krishna temple. I loved it. And much of what I stumbled into by following my curiosity and intuition turned out to be priceless later on. Here is one example. Reed College offered perhaps the best calligraphic instruction in the country. Because I had to take a calligraphy class, I learned about serif and sans serif typefaces, about what makes great typography great. And now the meanings. Dorm. It's a short form for dormitory. Dormitory means a large bedroom for a number of people in educational institutions. Cent means a coin worth 1/100th of US dollar. Intuition means the ability to understand something instinctively without the need for conscious reasoning. Calligraphy means visual art form. Serif, a slight projection finishing of a stroke of a letter. Sans serif means a style of type without serif. Typography means the appearance of printed matter. Stumbled into means to start something by chance and not by intention. 10 years later, when we were designing the first Macintosh computer, it all came back to me, and we designed it all into the Mac. If I had never dropped in on that course in college, the Mac would have never had multiple typefaces or, for that matter, even proportionally spaced fonts. Since Windows just copied Mac, it's likely no personal computer would have them. Of course, it was impossible to connect the dots looking forward when I was in college, but it was very clear looking backwards 10 years later. You can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. You have to trust in some things, your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever. This approach has never let me down and it has made all the difference in my life. And now the meanings. Gut means courage and determination. My second story is about love and loss. I found what I loved to do early in life was Steve Wozniak, and I started Apple when I was 20. In 10 years, Apple had grown from just the two of us in a garage into a $2 billion company, and then I got fired. It was devastating. And now the meanings. Got fired means lost the job. Devastating means completely finishing or destroying something. But something slowly began to dawn on me. I still loved what I did, and so I decided to start over. The heaviness of being successful was replaced by the lightness of being a beginner again. It freed me to enter one of the most creative periods of my life. During the next 5 years, I started a company next, another company named Pixar, and fell in love with an amazing woman who would become my wife. Pixar is now the world's most successful animation studio. Apple bought Next. I returned to Apple, and the technology we developed at Next is at the heart of Apple's current renaissance. And Lawrence and I have a wonderful family together. And now the meanings. Began to dawn on means began to become clear. Renaissance means rebirth or revival. Pixar is the name of the animation company, but the meaning of Pixar is to make pictures. Sometimes life hits you in the head with a brick. Don't lose faith. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking. Don't settle. My third story is about death. About a year ago, I was diagnosed with cancer. My doctors advised me to go home and get my affairs in order, which is doctor's code for prepare to die. I lived with that diagnosis all day. Later that evening, I had a biopsy. It turned out to be a very rare form of pancreatic cancer that is curable with surgery. I had the surgery and I am fine now. And now the meanings. Hits you in the head with a brick means gives a great shock suddenly. Biopsy means removing a small tissue and testing it in a lab. Curable means you can come out of that disease. This was the closest I have been to facing death, and I hope it is the closest I get for a few more decades. Having lived through it, I can now say this to you: your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. And now the meanings. Dogma means belief or a set of beliefs held by a group or organization which others are expected to accept without argument. Drown out means be louder than another sound and prevent it from being heard. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. When I was young, there was an amazing publication called the Whole Earth Catalogue. In the final issue, on the back cover, they put a photograph of an early morning country road. Beneath it were the words, "Stay hungry, stay foolish." It was their farewell message as they signed off. I have always wished that for myself. And now, as you graduate to begin anew, I wish that for you. Stay hungry, stay foolish. And now the meanings. Anew, in a new or different way. Stay foolish means always keep an open mind. Never think you know everything. Stay hungry means always keep wanting something more, something new. And always be hungry for achieving success and knowledge.